Muhami Matters with Chris Adams, powered by CJA Consulting.
If you're a service business, which you and I are, then we should be creating a dream list and marketing to those people, going after those people. People waste so much time out here pissing around on social media.
So you call yourself the brand commander.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Fundamentally, business owners are lazy. But what they do is they abdicate from their roles and then they go, well, we can solve this problem.
Welcome to Muhami Matters, where credibility meets clarity in legal and professional services. I'm your host, Chris Adams, founder of Muhami and CJA Consulting. Today's episode is all about cutting through the marketing noise, and who better to guide us than Miss Lucy Bradley. Lucy is a tactical marketing expert, corporate speaker, and founder of the Dubai-based agency Plug. She's known for her candid style, her creative strategies, and her no-nonsense advice, where she helps businesses from startups right through to major brands. She helps them connect with their dream clients through marketing that actually works. Get ready for some bold takes, no BS, real talk, and practical tactics. Welcome, Lucy. Thank you for joining us on Muhami Matters.
Thank you for having me.
So, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself for those who haven't come across your work just yet?
Those haven't come across me. My name is Lucy. I am a tactical marketeer and I've been doing it for 18 years in Dubai. I've lived here for 22 years and what can I say? I love what I do.
What is Plug? What did Plug mean? Where did that name come from?
Well, actually, I inherited it. So somebody else had the name and they were leaving the business. And then it was kind of like a graphic design agency. And I mean, obviously, that's what I do as well. But it didn't really have a purpose. It was just some sort of agency. I like a lot of them today, aren't they? They're all a bit purposeless, I suppose. But then over the years, I've niched into tactical marketing, which is what I teach and is what I run my masterclasses on. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely. So you call yourself the brand commander.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, commanding brands. But here's the thing about being tactical and standing out in a crowded market. If I was just the CEO, you wouldn't have picked up on it. And whenever I give my business card out, and you know I go to a lot of networking events, the first thing people say is, wow, brand commander, tell me more. So it already does the talking for you rather than founder, managing director. I think if you're going to tell people how to stand out, how to market better, how to be remembered, then I kind of have to do that myself.
You have to practice what you preach.
You have to practice what you preach, yeah.
Okay, so you're now going to have to explain to us what tactical marketing is, because I know the brand commander moniker ties in with that quite closely. You are practicing what you preach.
Yeah, so tactical means being super targeted. And I always say, every business should know who they're trying to target and asking those three questions. Do I have what they need? Can I help them? And can they afford me? And from that, rather than wasting, and people waste so much time out here, just pissing around on social media. And, don't get me wrong, it's great. But if you're a service business, which you and I are, then we should be creating a dream list and marketing to those people, going after those people. Why waste your time waiting for them may or may never come and find you? You've kind of got to be targeted and strategic, and that's what it's all about. And that's what I've niched in.
So it's basically about you finding them, about your client finding their customer rather than waiting for the customer to come to them.
You know why? It's because most people don't know who they're trying to target. Can you imagine having a business, and there's many people like this, and they don't know who their ideal customer is? Or it'll be a very loose description, a male 35 to 55, or this type of person. But when I started creating dream lists for people, it was really out of frustration, because I'd look at their business, I'd sit with the owner and go, well, I know exactly who you should work with. Oh, I'll just do it myself. So I would compile the dream list and say, right, there's your audience. Now we have to nurture these. These are the people we need to go after. And I'm amazed that so many businesses out here have no idea who their audience is, and more importantly, how they're going to get them into the business.
And I think that goes, because I completely agree with you, and this is what
I
first
love
thing I
it
try and
when
do with my
people agree
clients.
with me. You know, I'm
Yes.
always right.
Well, yes. So that means I'm right as well for once. But this is what I try and tell the people I work with. Let's firstly work out who you actually want to target.
Yeah.
Because whether you're a
And
service
that's
business.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Whether you're a service business
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
B2C, B2B, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
you need to know who you're targeting, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So how is it different from just posting on social media?
But that's like the waiting game, isn't it?
Yeah.
I hope someone will see my post other than my friends. I mean, we made the decision as an agency to come off Instagram. I have my personal one, but that is my personal life. But we came off most social media. In fact, I think I gave the password to someone, said, there you go, hack into it, do what you want. And I focused on what I've always done, which is data, relationships, and networking. And that's how I've grown my business. I mean, I haven't survived 18 years by chance. I have always been a very good networker and a connector. And how do I get those people into my business? By nurturing those relationships. So I didn't really need to waste my time on social. I use LinkedIn, and that's kind of a really nice little funnel now. That's worked really well. But I don't really spend a lot of time on social because I know who I'm targeting and I know the tactics on how to reach them. So why would I waste my time hoping and praying that they're going to suddenly wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh, I need them? And most people don't know what they need. They don't know what they don't know, right?
Correct.
So sometimes you have to inspire. I mean, when I have ever given, like I gave you something earlier, tactical, whenever I've met people and I've shown them what I do, I tell them what I do, you know, it's visible as a creative. No one's ever said, I do not need that in my business. Yeah, we should have that. Yeah, we need that. Yeah, we should be doing that. It's always, we should be doing that. So a lot of it is inspiring people. So I have to inspire you to kind of work with me. So again, how is social going to do that? I might as well go direct to the audience that I choose. This is what you should be doing. This is what I can do for you. You see what I mean?
Amazing. Who are you targeting? Who is your ideal client then?
Mainly serviced businesses. I do have a dream list of them. And, you know, they're everything from, it could be businesses that need to get clients coming in, repeat clients, staying loyal. So they could be in various sorts of studios, gyms, you know, healthcare's of interest. Although they don't actually behave very well as clients, they kind of run out of steam and can't be bothered, but we'll talk about that later. Those sorts of businesses that need to get people coming in. So I do keep a little dream list myself and think, oh, they'll be good. Oh, those ones would be really good. And then just over time, just kind of nurture.
And how
Those
often do you
ones.
update that dream list?
I pop people onto it most weeks and I go, oh, that would be a good one. Oh, that would be a nice one, you know. And sometimes, sometimes you may never get them, but you might get something else. But there's a very clear... I think also it's really important to know the noises. So when you meet someone, you know, and you go, yeah. And I remember meeting somebody at a BCCD event and I was like, yep, that's the client. Yeah. He hasn't got a clue what he's doing. Yes, he needs guidance. Yes, he needs marketing. Yes, he needs to stand out. Yes, he's saturated. Yes, come into my world. And it was very easy because I was showing him what he should have been doing. He said, you're right. I should have been doing this.
You do practice what you preach. That's better than what a lot of us do.
Well, most people don't. Most people don't and won't, and there's many reasons for that. It depends how candid you'd like me to be.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get onto that. But just at a higher level, why do you think that tactical marketing gets results where other methods don't?
Why do I think? Because, again, it goes back to knowing exactly who your customer should be. Can I help them? Do I have what they need? I don't know any other way. if you know who it is and they should be working with us, I don't know any other way. I don't know why we would waste our time optimizing things, doing this and digitalizing, I can't even say it, digitalizing everything and losing that personal touch on the way. And we're all about authenticity now. I don't know any other way. And it's the question we should all ask ourselves every day. Who is our ideal client? What do I need to do to get in front of them? How do I need to stand out from my competitors? And the only way I can do it is to market from me to you. Is go direct. So does that mean sending something? Does it mean doing something bold? Does it mean inviting them to something? So I have a fintech client. I run all their events in London quarterly, and I've got one next week. And again, we're targeting private wealth managers, banks, financial institutions, tax consultancies. So what do? If we sent them a PDF going, here's a long-winded document about our tax calculating software, and it will send you to sleep a bit. Or do we invite them to a really interesting event, a breakfast event at the RAF Club in London, where we host all of our events, and then we start nurturing the relationships? Which one do you think is going to get there quicker? And already, after running 6 to 8 events, we've already started nurturing these hot leads of people that we want in our business. And look, this could have taken, if we just sent laborious emails. You got to remember, nobody really wants to receive emails because it's work. You have to respond back.
Yes.
But instead, we'd send out nice, fancy printed invitations and all of this. Come to this event. Come and listen to the former head of British intelligence. Give a talk. Is it any surprise when I tell you that we have a full house? And now those people we didn't know but would like to know from our own dream list have now become part of our mailing list, part of our subscribers, and now we're ready to talk. Now we're ready to go to the next level. Now we're ready to start building relationships. And that's what every business should be doing. Service businesses should be doing, but they don't, because they're lazy.
Are they lazy, or they just don't know what to do?
At what point do you think you're entitled to an opinion? I think I've done 18 years, right? So I've seen recessions. I've seen all the seasons, I suppose, of running a business here. But no, I'm going to stick to it, which is I'm going to stick to what I've said. I think fundamentally, business owners are lazy. But what they do is they abdicate from their roles, and then they go, well, we can solve this problem. What we'll do is we'll hire somebody completely incapable, but we'll call them a business development person, and they're going to grow the business for me. But that doesn't work. And then they also do something else, which I will never understand. They try and hire a creative team in-house. Well, they'll do our marketing for us. But usually I find most people that work in marketing generally the most unimpressive people I've met. And I'm thinking, how are you in marketing when you kind of, when you need to stand out, you need to attract clients into your business, and you're just doing, for lack of a better word, some really crap marketing like everyone else. And everyone seems to think social's their savior. This is going to work. But when you challenge people and say, okay, well, let's have a look at numbers, right? How many leads have you converted into sales? How much effort is this nonsense taking? And the best client to have is the client you've already got, and remarketing. But nobody does that. And the other thing is they all neglect their databases. They don't talk to their customers. They don't keep in touch. So it's kind of a mess. And I put it down to laziness.
So you said there's a lot of average or below average marketing folk out here.
There's a lot of below average people here, full stop.
Right. So you think this is just a regional thing, or do you think this is a global thing? Okay.
I think you know what I think.
Yeah. Why is that then, though? Why
because
is it so region specific?
I mean, in my industry, I think people see marketing as an added plus.
Yes.
It's a luxury. It's in the first sign of any, not recession, but when there's kind of market events where people cut in their businesses, they cut training, they cut marketing, we don't need that. And then suddenly it's like, well, we don't have clients coming in, we don't have revenue coming in. But again, it's like, yeah, it's daft. But I think it's because people don't want to pay for it. And I do think a lot of businesses I don't know where the cheapskate mentalities come from, but I know when I talk to people and they say, yeah, we don't do any marketing, we rely on word of mouth. And I'm like, but that is not sustainable.
No, it's not. I agree.
I
hear the same thing.
Yeah, and it's like you're dreaming if you think out there. And I remember challenging somebody, they're in the BCCD, and they said, yeah, everything's done by referral. I said, so what do you do to reward those people that refer, that keep your business going? He said, nothing. Wow. I take my clients to the ballet front row to reward them.
Yes.
But, and that's the thing. I mean, you see it at like Christmas, nobody gifts clients, nobody thanks clients, I think not only as a business owner, but as a mother and an ex-wife to many, but too. But I don't receive anything. I don't receive gifts of appreciation or thank you for being our customer, thank you for your loyalty. I do from brands that I shop with in London, but here, nothing. I don't get invited to things. Oh, we're celebrating our whatever anniversary, whatever. Rarely. I mean, I just think we all generally suck at it. And somebody said to me recently, I think marketing is really poor out here. And I was like, yeah. I agree. And I think maybe that's why with my little things of the way I do things, I tend to stand out because, and it isn't hard. I always say to people, it is not hard to stand out. There's a voice in my head saying, say that other thing, Lucy, but I'm not bold enough yet.
Well, we'll get there. We might need a few more drinks. I'm not sure what you've got in that mug.
It's tea. It's only tea.
Yeah, it's pretty early in the day. So I guess what mistakes do you see businesses doing over and over again? You've alluded already to
lack of consistency.
Okay, I was going to say lack of spending, but
lack of consistency. And I think also, actually, did I write little notes? I think no follow-up.
Yes.
No. I mean, I think I love networking. I know you do too. But I'm amazed at the number of people that don't follow up. Even if there could have been not necessarily a sale. I think people think networking is go there, pick up a load of customers, go home. They don't realize this is the point of building relationships. I cannot believe that there's people same age, younger than me, whatever, still don't know how to network and they call themselves business owners. And I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm going to say it. I always say in my masterclasses, if you're able to tell someone your name, you are able to tell that other person in a networking environment what you do. You can clearly articulate what it is that you do, and you're able to connect with them and somehow exchange a business card, or you find each other on LinkedIn where you've got each other's details. And then the very next day, you are able to follow up with them and make a connection. You are 95% ahead of everyone else that attended that event.
I was speaking to you before this session. I had a personal experience the last week and a half or so where I did do follow up after a networking event and then got, a not nice message after it saying, why did you follow up? I'm like, well, this is what you have to do when you're networking. You need to send a follow up. You need to try and engage.
Otherwise, why go? I have a stack of business cards, and it's from here because I put rubber bands on them, and it's up to here, my wrist now. It's almost touching where my watch is. And these are all business cards that I've collected from the last year of people selling something that I could have bought and have never followed up. And I think out here with a very changing landscape, I'm amazed that people didn't look at me and go, oh, she could be a customer.
Yeah.
I must have fitted the demographic of some of those businesses. And I document it. I put it on LinkedIn every couple of months, how this stack of cards is growing. And I call them, there's a file for them. I call them the ones that never bothered to follow up. And that's just all the ones selling something that I could have been their customer. And I think, what were they looking for? To go to an event, to go to the trouble of going to an event, driving to the event, and never following up. And it will always elude me as to why people do that.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. So how would you suggest that people follow up? Because we've talked about tactical marketing before, and I don't have a huge grasp of it. I always think it's like sending a postcard or something like that. But I was saying, if I go to a networking event, do I need to send someone a postcard afterwards instead of an email? Do I need to send them a gift? What do I need to do?
Well, for me, I put them onto my mailing list. I send them a personal email. But if it's somebody I want to get in with, for whatever reason, it might be that they could be of use to my clients as well. And don't forget, I don't look with that one kind of, I'm looking for different things when I go to events, people I might be able to partner with. Maybe they do something where I can do a speaking engagement. They could end up being a client of mine, or they could be of some interest, or maybe I just fancy them. But what I would do is I would follow up with them by sending a telegram, something handwritten, and then actually get it couriered. I would go that step further. When people write things about me on LinkedIn, anything positive, I send them a telegram to say thank you. So I always do something tactile, because remember, I'm trying to also stand out from the crowd. I'm also probably, in a very saturated market. I'm also, trying to show a point of difference. But with the tactical stuff, I'm getting really good results now. So I'm really seeing a shift in it.
One interesting thing the point you made just then is that you are thinking more broadly. You are thinking about your clients.
Yeah.
And I do the same thing, because I generally go to network events not necessarily thinking I want to get a client for myself, because that's going to be quite rare. I'm thinking about other people, because this is what I've been educated to do in the network training I've done and things like that. And it works.
Yeah.
But is that a good approach? I mean, should you be everyone in it for themselves, or should you be thinking about other people first?
You know the answer to
I think,
that.
well, I do, but not everybody does.
Yeah. I mean, it's what do we call it? Farming, not, what's the other one? Farming, not hunting.
Harvesting? I don't know, yeah.
But sometimes I like to be a hunter.
Yes. I have to say, if you said you might fancy someone, I have never received anything from you, Lucy, so I'm trying not to take that too personally. So you either don't fancy me, or you don't want to work with me, or whatever. So anyway, we'll have words
true.
after this.
No, we have met and we have talked about working together.
I know. I'm just.
But no, I am also looking for referral partners, and they are also very tough. Where I get, what really annoys me at the moment, I get people messaging me. The more flattering the email, the more bullshit it is when you actually cut to the chase. And they'll say, I love your style. I love the brand commander. I love your little hat that you wear in your pictures, all of this. I would love to collaborate with you. And I go, fantastic. So I pick up the phone because I can't be bothered to write back. And not because I'm lazy, because I know where this is going. And I go, tell me what collaboration looks like to you. Bearing in mind, I've been here for a long time. Oh, well, maybe if you have projects, you could farm them out to me. And I'm like, nope, that's not collaboration. That's me helping you because you can't find clients.
Yes.
So I always look for collaboration partners, but they are very hard to find. They've got to have that same desire, that energy. But most importantly, they need to have that network and be in a genuine position of influence. Hey, you should work with that person. You should do this. You should be. And most people can't do that. I sound like I'm trashing everyone today, but there are good things here.
Well, I agree, because I think you're giving people solutions as well. We will get to the solutions.
Yeah.
How does market saturation affect brand visibility? Because there is a lot of competition out here. If you look at
Yeah.
corporate structuring companies, for example, they're a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
How does it saturate? How do you stand out in a saturated market?
Well, there's easy ways to do that. Again, consistency. Maybe doing something different. Maybe engaging better. Maybe just keeping in touch. So there's some nice little easy ones. Or there's ones where you might want to do something a bit tactical. I remember working with a company set up many, many years ago. And I said to them, we've got two choices here. We either want to lead the industry. So with that, it's uncomfortable because we're going to be different. We're going to be provocative. Or we're going to follow the crowd. Oh, no, we're going to lead. We're going to lead. Oh, fantastic. Music to my ears. So when we started coming up with creative ideas, no, no, we're not going to do that. And all it was being different and kind of being a bit more thought-provoking for people who are looking to set up companies and what have you. And to be honest, but all my best ideas are usually, no, no, we're not going to do that. Because being different is scary for people. I wouldn't know. I can't relate to that because I suppose I've been a bit different for many, many years. But that's the solution. Oh, ask yourself, if you're in a saturated industry, do you want to lead or do you want to follow? And if you're going to follow, then it's going to be hard. But if it's going to be really hard, if you want to lead, but we're going to get results because we're going to be seen. So that's how I would advise somebody in a saturated market. I don't feel saturated. I don't really feel anyone's talking about tactical marketing in the same way that I do. I've noticed someone has started saying it on LinkedIn, and I'm like, but that isn't tactical marketing. I think they've just been following me. But
That's good.
but I'm going to change my title soon to being Brand Commander Tactician.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, they used to say it in World War II, and a tactician would be how you dispatch your enemies, and that you'd have a tactician who would say, this is how we're going to do it. This is how much manpower we need. This is how we're going to get ahead. And anyway, but that's where it comes from. It's my love of history. So to go back to the original point, Brand Commander is my love of World War II history.
Okay.
That's where the hat comes from, because in my little fantasy world, maybe I was a fighter jet pilot or something, or maybe I was working in dispatches or something, or, and that's where this has all come from. That's why there's a vintage feel to my brand, is because of that. It's the love of history.
There is definitely a vintage feel. Yeah,
if I could, I would have been a historian. I once wrote to the Imperial War Museum and just said, one day if I leave Dubai, can I have a job here? Because I would be in my element. And they said, that's ever so nice. And if you ever do come back, do let us know.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Because that's the world I enjoy.
Okay, so we've talked about the command and we've talked about the tactics. What about the execution? Can you give us an example of?
Well, actually, yes. I'm glad you've asked me. I've probably had my best tactical success in the last 2 weeks. And it's for my client in Abu Dhabi, Titter Totter, which is a children's immersive play space. And it's very different. It's not a soft play area. So think museum, children's museum meets this immersive space. And my client is a very nice Saudi Emirati lady, adorable. And she said, we need to get kids in the business, right? And I was like, yeah, we do, Dana, we do. And I said, what we're going to do is we're going to send telegrams and you're going to handwrite them and to every nursery in Abu Dhabi. And we're going to write a nice playful message. I'm going to get my best ink pens out. And she goes, I'm glad you said you're going to get your ink pens out. She goes, do you know how many nurseries there are? And I said, I've researched 85. 85 that we would like to reach. And they're all going to get a handwritten note. And I could just see her sitting there going, I have really bad handwriting. I said, well, it's a good job that I like you. And so I wrote every single one of these. And I said, but we've got to put your name in. A little smiley face next to the name. There was a method in the madness, down to the pen, down to the paper, down to the envelope, and more importantly, the phone number. And it just said, so dear Emma, we are opening soon in Abu Dhabi. Would love to meet. Would love to chat over a coffee. How we can partner on this fantastic thing. And I changed it every time, and sent it off. And I wrote to her, the client, over Eid. I said, you having a nice Eid? Great. This is what I'm doing. Sent pictures. Only 45 to go. Only 10 to go. And I was really tired, but I knew this was a good one.
Yes.
Had it all picked up on Monday. Wednesday morning, the client messaged me around 11 and said, what did you put in those telegrams? We've received 12 phone calls already. I'm not talking about lame-ass WhatsApps. WhatsApps really get on my nerves in terms of marketing, but actual phone calls where people said, I've got the telegram. Did you really handwrite this? And of course, my client went, yes. As a team, we handwrote them. And this is like over 25% success within 7 days.
Wow. Fantastic.
And I knew it would work. And, I knew it would work because, and what the feedback wasn't how dare you send me a printed, designed, handwritten personal note. It was, this is really good. I've never received anything like this. So when you go back to talking about saturated markets, this is a piss easy way to stand out. Yeah.
Well, clearly Dana is far forward thinking. Clearly Dana is forward thinking. Clearly.
Yeah, I saw her 2 days ago. She said, I have to admit, Lucy, I was skeptical whether this would work. And this is why I let you write the telegrams. And I was like, you didn't think this would work? And she said, I just didn't know.
Yeah.
So now we have over 20 nurseries that want to come and do something with us.
Fantastic.
So that's hello, audience.
So though obviously the telegrams are something quite tangible, physical.
Yeah. I advise all my clients to do it. All my clients, whenever they work with me, what's this on the scope? A telegram. And they think it's something that an app they download. And I go, no, this is where we physically write something. And I do it for a lot of clients. I end up taking ownership of the writing.
Yes.
Only because I've got nice handwriting and, but because I want the results, not because I have nothing better to do at night, but because I want the results for them.
Yeah.
Find me another agency who would go that far to help their clients. I don't think in this town you'd find one.
Well, yeah, certainly don't think you'd find the manager or the person running the business doing that. It'd be quite rare. They might get, their team to do it, but yeah.
No, I do it. I do it because I want it done and I want it done right. And I'm very picky about things. And then I get excited, and I love playing, the numbers game, how many are going to respond. But even I didn't think, we were going to get it that quickly. Within 7 days, over 25% return.
So you knew the target audience. You knew the target, who you're writing to.
We knew the areas that we wanted to reach. So they needed to be close to the venue. Mm-hmm. So we knew, and then we made a few tweaks to the dream list. It was a dream list that I put together. And then we made a few tiny tweaks. She goes, oh, maybe not them, maybe not those, but these ones, yes. And then from there, we executed.
So did any of these ideas, these tactics ever fall flat?
They never fall flat. Because then what you've got to do is if we're not seeing the movement in terms of numbers of phone calls, responses, then maybe look at the dream list and maybe it's not quite right. I sometimes look at a few dream lists from clients and go, I don't see this working. And then you tweak it and then you add more to it. So you add more companies in there. You kind of cast your net a bit wider and you keep going till you get it.
How aspirational do these dream lists need to be? Are we talking realistic or?
Yeah. Look, Madonna's not on my dream list. I mean, when you say aspirational, you know, they've got to be companies. Answer the 3 questions. Can I help them? Do I have what they need? Can they afford me? So there's no point going after a whole bunch of people that you can't work with. That's just stupid. So, and whether they're here or in London or wherever, you go after the clients that you can work with.
That makes sense.
Can you imagine? Sense. Working with Madonna. Madonna's my hero.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so she is in your aspirational dream list secretly.
Well, actually, if you want to go down this tangent of Madonna, once upon a time, and he's still my best friend in London, a gay friend of mine, when we were at school, he was very good at making art. And he designed back then a picture disc. He said, look, I've made a picture disc design of Madonna, and I'm going to send it to Warner Brothers, which was her record label. And he goes, maybe they might use it and they'll pay me. Well, they did use it. And he wrote to them and said, hey, this is the mock-up. And he was like a 16-year-old, 17-year-old schoolboy. And he wrote to them and said, you know, I sent you this. And they wrote back and they said, well, great minds think alike. And we would like to compensate you. So they knew that this had come in, and he'd crafted it. And he said, no, you could put the text here, and beautiful. And he sort of stuck it together, and he had it couriered to them. And, you know, and he still managed to pass all his school exams, but he was also doing this. He considered this work. He'd taken it upon himself. They wrote and they said, we'd like to compensate you with all of this merchandise of Madonna. And he said, okay, well, we'll leave it at that. But my dad says I should be suing you.
Yeah.
But
what was his end game, though? What was your friend's
Well, he was
end
just
game?
a huge fan of Madonna. And then he just always fancied working for her. And he wanted to design her record labels. And he thought, well, rather try and go through the fan club, he went to Warner Brothers, and the art director must have picked it up and went, this is a good one.
Yes.
And there you go.
They should have employed him. That would have been a much better compensation. But anyway.
Well, actually, if you want to go even further with this, so his partner works in a restaurant in Soho, and Madonna went and dined there about a month ago. And I was there because I was running another event in London. And his partner rang him and said, oh, you'll never guess what, Madonna's dining with us tonight. And they've asked for a special menu. And what the restaurant normally does is design that menu. And Ben said, leave it with me, I'll do it. So he took off the crown that was on the Like a Prayer album of 1989 that only a diehard fan like weirdos like us would know. Presented the menu to Madonna and said, here's your menu for this evening. And she looked straight at the crown, and apparently she said, some attention to detail's gone on here.
There you go. There you go.
And he gave me a copy of the menu as well, which I was very happy with.
Amazing. Okay, so for every client, you need to have that attention to detail.
Yeah, but yeah, so dream list, going back onto that, is they've got to be people in the ballpark that you can work with. As I said, there's no point going, I want to work with Apple if you're never going to be able to. They've got to be, and there's plenty of businesses here. You know, if you're a service-based business here, there's plenty of businesses here that you can target. But people don't, and you know why? It's the fear of rejection. They don't want to. They don't want to target. What if they say no? What if they get offended? Or what if they don't like this? And I know when I've worked with people and I've said, okay, I think we should do this. And it's always me feeding the ideas. And that's just by nature. That's not because I'm saying they can't. But they go, yeah, but what happens if this doesn't get there? It doesn't. What is the alternative, Chris?
Yeah, well, I think that's the nature of a lot of service-based businesses. They are, you know, they just work.
What is the alternative? Tell me the alternative. I remember
Yeah.
giving a talk, a detailed masterclass on this subject, and I get very passionate about it. And I showed example after example after example after example, and the results of how this was working for businesses, different types of businesses. And at the end of it, some guy put his hand up and said, so would you advise that we should send direct messages on LinkedIn? I said, have you just joined this session? And he said, no, I've been here the whole time. I said, what part of the other 47 slides where I've shown example after example did you not get? So you would dismiss all of that and just send a DM. I said, okay, send a DM. And they ignore you. Then what? Send another DM and they ignore you. And then what? That's the end of the line.
Yeah.
So it's the question I've asked myself for 18 years. How do I get in front of people? How do I stand out? How do I stand out from everyone else? How do I be remembered? So I don't know anything else.
And is then, I guess, I've seen your website. It's fantastic and it's very on brand. So it seems to me you need more than one tactic in a tactical marketing campaign.
Yeah, it's a mix.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not dismissing digital. I'm not dismissing social media. But I want to get there quicker.
Yes.
If you were an ideal client, for example, and I'm waiting for you to realize that you should do some marketing, not you personally, what do? Do I just hope and pray you might see a LinkedIn post? Because you have to remember, people rarely take action. Usually there's a crisis, that's a tipping point when people take action. They rarely just look at a post and go, oh, great. Yep, I'm going to book in a call with Lucy. It never works. Something normally goes wrong in the business. And then they go, shit, we need help with X, Y, Z. So it just seems too long. I just think I'd rather, if you know who you want, then you go for them.
So you mentioned one very recent success. What are some of the other clients? What have been there when they were skeptical and it's been a success? What's the reaction?
So I remember working for many, many years with a sewing school in Dubai. And of course, the natural target would have been to work with schools. And I remember saying, okay, so we need more kids in the business. Okay, so let's do this. So I proposed a whole load of ideas. And I said, I'll write it, I'll design it. And then she said, I'll sew their name on it. I'll sew their name on it on the envelope, make a kit out of it, wrap it up, put it there. And we'll do that. And I could tell she was like, I feel really weird doing this. And sending it to the principals of schools in the catchment area that we chose. And she said, I feel really uncomfortable with it. And you know, I was like, really? Why? And she goes, I just feel a bit of a dick. And I said, I feel like a dick most days, but I still get out there. I hate it when people call me an expert because I'm just someone who just loves what they do. Yes. I don't think I'm an expert. I just think I'm very good with ideas. But it worked for this sewing school. We got it into the curriculum. We got it into kids coming into the business. I think that year we had like 162 children come through the business. And, you know, and she said, I really didn't think of this. So those are nice when there's like those little light bulb moments. And as I said, I will never be a person that goes, and we had 1 million views and we had an influencer, and I hate influencers. And that those things will never impress me. I think it's more about and I don't like the word empowering, but people like my clients who were feeling uncomfortable with this, now feeling at ease to do it again. I think that's kind of my success, is opening their eyes to something different and go, actually, that worked. And I really, I feel silly giving out the fanzines that I showed you earlier, because my face is all over them. But I've got to get on with it because I'm the business owner and I've got a business to run. I've got a business to grow and I've got to stand out. But, it's getting them out of their comfort zones and making them realize, it's actually not that bad.
So is that how you measure success then? A smile on the client's face?
Yeah. Yeah. Retention is always good. Mm-hmm. Referral is always good. And, those are the things. I'm very about the community. I'm building a community. That's the kind of ecosystem I enjoy being part of. I'm not really interested in what big brands are doing. I'm not really interested in that kind of thing. it's the small. I'm a small business owner, so I care about small businesses. I don't think there's a great deal of support for small businesses in this part of the world. I think, with the rising costs of everything, I think it's very hard for small businesses, and that hurts me. That hurts me. I hate hearing it, and I hate being part of it, in the sense that I feel like there's not much we can do but ride out the storm. And that's where the masterclasses came from, because I thought, well, what better to do than to educate people with my ideas on how they could grow their businesses. And that's the success for me, where someone says, I took that idea and it worked. I did this and it worked.
So my next question was going to be, if a business is struggling, service-based business, with their marketing, with getting more clients, what is the first step they should take?
Hire me.
I'm guessing it's to attend your masterclass.
Attend my masterclass, hire me, listen to me, implement what I say and what I do, what I propose. Or you could do what some people do, completely ignore it all and then fail.
So just go to you.
Just
no
go
other
to
answer.
me. Well, I will never understand why people hire in-house people, because you can hire somebody who knows what they're doing for a fraction of the price. If we're going to talk about money, but I don't know why anyone who's creative would not be working in-house. Anyone who is really good at marketing would not be working in-house.
So I guess then it's more of a short-term, one-off tactic that we're working towards, rather than, because that's what I think people would hire internal managers for, design managers, brand managers.
I mean,
so you've got consistent.
Maybe a coordinator, but I know when I meet people and they go, "Oh, we have an in-house team," and then you see what they're churning out, and I'm like, "Yep, that's money wasted."
Right.
I mean, The Economist once said in their marketing book, marketing is so important. It's more important than the people that work in marketing in your business. And it's so true. It's critical. It's the lifeblood. So why would you just hire any old Wally to run it?
Yeah, I mean,
seriously,
it does make sense. Yeah,
seriously, out here I do not understand it. And when I meet marketing people and I find them a bit unimpressive, I'm like, I just don't get it.
Yes.
Maybe I'm being a bit bitchy. I'm not bitchy. I'm really nice.
No, I think you're touching on something, because I see the same on the business development side.
Yeah.
Where I come to firms, service-based companies, and they want to get results. They're not sure what they're doing, but they don't want to look at the strategy first. They just want to jump straight in. And
well,
we have to take a
it's
step
that
back.
instant,
we have to do the strategy first.
Yeah.
You have to understand who you're targeting, and you have to know what steps you're going to take. It saves you money. It saves you. Okay, there's a small upfront cost, but over 6 months you've made that money back in the money you've saved.
People want instant results.
Yes.
Instant. I worked with a medical company. I find the medical company, well, terrible in marketing. I mean, they'll spam the hell out of you with Botox and things, but they'll never follow up with more serious things. But I worked with a few medical companies, and they came up with a whole plan for the whole summer going forward. And then after a couple of months, they were like, "Oh, it's just too much like hard work. And we're just going to go back to making reels." I was like, you have a database of 35,000 past customers. Why aren't you spending your time with them? Why aren't you nurturing them? Why aren't you marketing to them? But no, they just wanted to keep doing these silly reels where they're dancing in front of the camera. And I don't get that. I don't get that at all. Why would you waste your time? It's like one of the things I always say, how can I show more love to my clients? And my visible love for like my Abu Dhabi client for Titter Totter was to spend 2 days over Eid writing these cards. That's how I show my love.
Yep.
But I don't see businesses showing love. The fundamental thing is, if you don't have customers, you don't have a business. And Dubai is a very expensive place to be with a business that's not making any money. So
Yes.
why aren't we showing love? My
Yeah.
next fanzine that I'm printing is all about, why are you not showing love? Why are you not engaging and nurturing your customer? You nurture your customer, they will come back. Not only will they do that, they'll refer you to someone else. Why are you wasting your time trying to find new clients, new clients, new clients? That's not sustainable, because the effort needed in that and the money needed in that is too much.
I completely agree with you. So now we need to get people to take action. How could a lawyer or a business consultant begin applying the tactical markets today?
You know, I'm not
Tactical
really a
market-
big
tactical
fan
stra-
of lawyers.
Tactical strategy.
Yeah.
You're not a fan of lawyers. Okay.
But no, it's not that I'm not. It's not that I'm not a fan of lawyers, but I do find there are. You did say I was allowed to be candid.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
I do find there's lots of lawyers, like there are financial advisors at networking events. They never reply to my emails if I send a nice follow-up. Never reply, probably because they'd want to charge me or something, maybe. But they never follow up, so they never become those referral partners. And I think, like financial advisors, they don't think, well, hang on a minute, I should nurture this relationship, because if I referred to them, they could refer me. Because if you're all out there in the business of networking, then surely they might be able to refer. But they never do. So I find them, with the exception of one or two lawyers that I've met over the years, and a couple of them have been my clients. But generally, I find that those types, as well as like real estate agents, they don't make great networking people. Do you know what I mean? They don't. Whereas I'm always thinking about something else, you know, someone else, or that could be great, that could work. But I don't know. I think what is it? Thinking outwardly, inwardly. So
Yeah.
I think outwardly.
I think give more than you take might be
Yeah.
one thing.
Yeah.
And so I think a practical thing, I don't know if
Yeah.
you agree or not, a practical thing is just to do the follow-up. Simple as that. You go into the effort of attending the networking as a lawyer, professional, whatever.
Yeah.
Do the follow-up, nurture
Yeah.
the relationship.
Yeah, but they don't. Maybe because they think most of the time it's a waste of time. And I get it. You know, not everyone. I follow up with everyone just to say hi, nice to meet you. But there are a lot there that I wouldn't spend time with. But at least I'm being polite. I'm being courteous.
So what else could they do then,
Well, apart from hire me,
apart from hire you?
get their database up to date. Reconnect with past customers. I call it the past, the present, the future. The past clients that we've had, the current clients that we're working with, and the future ones that are on our radar, but we haven't worked with them yet. So maybe I would market to them in 3 different ways. Come back to the business. Great to be working with you. Can you refer us? Can we help you with anything else? And same for the prospects. Marketing is a big, beautiful world. Creative is so creative, and yet nobody wants to do it.
Yeah, I think
I'm excited about printing a new business card next week, you know, and go, oh, which image am I going to use?
Yes.
You know, because they're a nice little talking point. And I'm immensely flattered when a couple of people have come up to me and said, have you seen my card? I stole this idea from you, and I love it. I love it. Because we should all be doing that. We should all be embracing the creative world rather than fearing marketing. We should all be going, how am I going to stand out next? What am I going to do? What's going to attract me to the next clients? You know, what shall I have on there that's going to make me remembered? Nobody thinks like that.
So I think back to the point you made at the beginning. You said it was about laziness. I still think it's a bit of laziness, but also people just don't know what to do. That's when they need to come to people like you and I think, to help them, to motivate them, to guide them.
If they don't know what to do, then they probably shouldn't be in business.
Well, I guess maybe they just
You're being kind.
I think they need education. Personally, I think they.
I think you're being kind.
Well, I'm a very kind person, as you know.
No, I think, maybe they don't know where to start. I get it. But no, lazy.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
think it's a bit of both. Not sure where to start, not sure how to. I think people have the ideas, but it's the execution.
Yes.
And who's going to execute this? How am I going to articulate that? And I think that's the problem.
True.
But they could just call me.
Yeah. I think that's exactly right. They call you. Get the idea out of your head onto paper and work it with a professional.
Into a brief, and then it turns into a sale, and then everyone's happy.
I think that's a nice way to finish up. So thank you very much for joining us today on Muhami Matters, Lucy. Much appreciated.
Thank you for having me.
So I enjoyed the no-nonsense chat. I knew we were going to have a no-nonsense chat. I think we've talked about some of the problems and we found some solutions as well. So to the audience, if you've enjoyed today's episode, please do subscribe, like it, share it with your friends. We always love to have new people on board. For more insights, then visit muhami.ae and come visit me at CJA Consulting. Always happy to help. I'm Chris Adams. Until next time, stay informed and stay empowered. Thank you for joining us on Muhami Matters. If you found today's episode valuable, subscribe and connect with me to stay updated. Join me again soon as we continue to bring you credible insights, practical strategies, and trusted advice to empower your professional journey. I'm Chris Adams. Until next time, stay informed and stay empowered.